This video is going to go on uncomfortable topics. So this is for mature audiences only. Please do not send hate to the creator that I will be talking about. This is for my own personal beliefs and what I have as a conclusion for the person's case on the matter of them improving.
But I know that's kind of something I had to experience to have a better weight loss journey and to improve my appearance and health. Because I want to be the best version of myself, you know? I'm not perfect, I never have been, but I can try to be as perfect as I can be. I think that's just a given, you know?
What you saw there was a motivational video that Jamie made throughout his own progress and to motivational speech towards his fans, wishing them good luck on their life and to never give up. This video again is not a hateful act towards Jamie and is going to deter Jamie to the right path instead of the wrong path. Disclaimer, this video is for mature audiences only, so if you're a kid under, it is not recommended to watch this video. Jamie was born with a thing called ASD, Autism Spectrum Disorder, diagnosed at 6 years old. He struggles with social cues and sensory overstimulation, basically leads to meltdowns that he sometimes can have. Sometimes he will have periods of intense emotional distress where he could lash out or withdraw completely with his own emotional capacity. He can also suffer from another thing called ADHD, with his condition having executive dysfunction, basically making it difficult for him to maintain a consistent work schedule or having vital medical appointments, like his dental surgery. Jamie also describes his world as frequently dull and miserable sometimes when he is exercising or when he's getting his life to a better start, basically having a chronic fatigue and lack of motivation, which we could call this as major depressive disorder. This is one of his major go-tos as of why he feels the way he did 2024, 2025, and somewhat still in 2026. He also has another thing called fatty liver disease. He talked about it in 2019. Basically, excess fat in Jamie's liver prevents it from filtering toxins properly. So before, when he did his drinking streams, it turned his consumption into lethal activity. Basically, his liver cannot repair the damage caused by ethanol. With knowing about Jamie's conditions and his diagnosis, this will give you a better understanding of what he has been through with the other topic that I will be talking about that he somewhat talks about. I kind of want to talk a little bit about this topic, but I'm not going to fully get into it. Again, I want him to, if he wants to, dive deeper into this topic. But the moral of the story is, Jamie was abused at a young age, and the idea behind this is that he was basically sexually assaulted, went through domestic battery, domestic violence, and partially grooming. However, that grooming part is not really important as it was just a Facebook dating groups kind of thing when he was a teenager. This was the time where when he went through all of this, he basically lost a lot of trust in others. It deeply impacted him because this psychological trauma that he had is a direct result of his childhood. This is what caused him to go through his outbreaks and issues and stuff, because back then with, the people abusing him. His nose was shattered at one point. He was choked nearly to death. There was a time when he got out of all of that situations, just blood all over him, just could not stand it. There was at one point where someone was abusing him and he also tolerated it. And then a lot of people, I guess, kind of knowing about that story where he retaliated with, I think, a baseball bat, he said, this was the time where he went to jail. And a ton of people are probably going to look at that and like, well, isn't he a monster for if he went to jail? No. I think a ton of people are kind of not understanding these parts that he went through. American laws were very different back then than it is now. And with Jamie going through so much abuse, Jamie lives in a part of, red territory, a rural area, and just how education is different. And so, a ton of individuals don't understand that, some people are not going to take other people's words, and some people are going to, do these things. And, beatings are kind of like legal in all 50 states of America. So him going through all of that, was it legal? Was it not? It was just, it's not enough to give an exceptional result of what happened. What he did was good, and what he's been through was not good. He's been through so much hell with his life and being abused and sexually assaulted. It went through so much struggles as an individual that he is, because the search for the affection that he had, he was denied so many times. He never really had affection. Which a ton of people are wanting to understand why he could be hypersexual, because that is the reason why. And that was when he was around 20 to 21 years old. He had a lot of partners back then. This was talked in my live stream. If you guys want to check that out, give you a bit of understanding of his time a couple of years before. He had a lot of partners, and because he wanted to find affection, basically. He wanted to find himself at the time of being him, just wanting to see who he was. Because with all of this direct result, it got him to where he is now. He never really knew that he was going to blow up with these AUs or this My Little Pony type of stuff, and a ton of people liking him. But his past drama, basically, he kind of thought that a lot of things would not work on his way. And he would have felt bad about that. So the idea is, his childhood was not great. It was just violence and exploitations. It was not the best time for himself, and it's kind of the reason why he's in this situation now. So this is kind of for you guys to understand what he's been through and why he is the way he was now and before when he started his AU. So this topic is going to be talking about his self-meditate and, resilience and what he's done, basically his substance that he's used to get his mind to a calm state. Before I talk about that, though, I want to talk a little bit about kind of his health in some parts of his journey. And that will also be in this topic, but there's one thing I will talk about, and that is his teeth. At the time I'm writing this video, he is still having some very tough times with his teeth. His street teeth has been rotting for 2 years. And he talks a little bit about having chronic physical pain for the most part. He is currently at this time trying to schedule an appointment to book surgery and get it fixed. But that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about with that part right there, if anybody was wondering. Now, there was a thing, somatic dependency Um, he talks a little bit about his body forgotten how to signal hunger, if that's correct. Basically, he cannot eat while he's sober. So marijuana, which is THC, is the appetite that can trigger it. Because without it, beforehand, he would risk severe weight fluctuations. So it's kind of like you gain a lot of pounds and then you gain little pounds, and then it's kind of like a bit of a different appetite for his situation. So he would sometimes have issues overeating himself, and then sometimes he will not eat at all because of that reason. And so the other reason in this section is nicotine addiction. So in the live stream that we did, he did a 2-year basically vaping habit. He used as a coping mechanism for workplace-induced, panic attacks when he was working at Amazon. Even though he does recognize it as him deteriorating his health, he's basically struggled with multiple high-profile relapses. So sometimes he would have, take-backs, setbacks in his life with him doing that. Nothing much really to say about that now. He's kind of fully, got over it now. The other part that I'm not going to fully talk about, since he's fully gone now with that part, is, alcohol. But he's fully recovered. But the moral story is he was a slight alcoholic in, early 2024 with the drinking streams that I talked about. But he successfully broke the addiction, basically after realizing that his fatty liver disease would likely cause death if he actually continued. So for the most part, he is fully done with the nicotine addiction and the alcohol recovery. So this section is going to be talking about what he's achieved objectively and the data-driven success that he had to reclaiming his physical health. This is kind of going to be a little bit of a short one. But the moral story is his metabolic discipline. He's moved from obese towards active recovery, with a caloric deficit. So in December 2025, he weighed 297 pounds. March 18th in 2026, he weighed 269 pounds. And then in April 2022, he weighed 264 pounds. So the total progress that he had was 33 pounds lost in 5 months. So this is the first time for Jamie in several years that he has basically reached the weight class, significantly just easing the pressure on his liver and joints. He also, with his dietary evolution, which food is important, y'all. I need you to understand it is important. He basically replaced his, quote-unquote $50 DoorDash lifestyle, basically now with home-cooked meals and protein-dense snacks. He basically eliminated just the trash calories that was just completely bad, high-energy, low-salutary foods from his daily routine. Much better than he used to be before, where he would just, eat snacks that are just, small and, high energy and just stuff that you would not want to eat to improve on your health. One of the last things that I will be talking about is his maturity and his professional boundaries. He has basically undergone a transformation in how he manages his career and his public identity. Jamie has acknowledged his burnout, and he's also acknowledged his issues, his mistakes, and his past life, and the people that he has hurt. He's acknowledged all of those, and he's abandoned the sugarcoating. He now speaks with brutal honesty about his case and failures and his personal thoughts. He is no longer trying to be a perfect creator, but is being a recovering human being. With that in mind, this is showing you guys and to him that he is just a human being. This is showing him that he has the chance to do what he enjoys. And this is showing you guys that you have the chance to do what you love. Because even without all of this, even without any of this, he's demonstrated that he could do it anytime he wants to. And he's doing it now. Jamie wants to improve on what he loves, on what he desires. At the time, he didn't care for any of this. Even after back in 2024, I meant, when he blew up, he was upset, frustrated, and hurt by the many things that he went through in his past. Up until this point, he just didn't care. And it hurt him mentally with all the things that he has done. But until then, Jamie has moved past all of his issues, his mistakes, and went into a professional manner to improve on himself. This shows you guys that you can do whatever you want and that your mistakes don't fully define you. You are a human being, and you can show everybody that you have what it is to be good at what you want to do. And that's what Jamie is doing too. Jamie is going to completely replace his whole career, possibly. He could change his whole lifestyle, he could get started into gaming content, like his channel was used to be. He could, react to different things. He could change his editing style. He could, I wouldn't even mind him talking about his mental recoveries and, motivational videos that he gives to people. I wouldn't even mind him doing that and being an advocate for those individuals. That would be a very fun suggestion for him to improve on himself. Before I get started into talking about the conclusion, I want to talk a little bit about his progress again. He's been only doing this for a month or two. And so he's not fully progressed throughout his life. He's not done 8 months, not even a year. Does this mean that he's going to have setbacks? Yes, absolutely. But does this mean that he isn't going to willingly change even after these months? No. And the reason why I say that is because Jamie isn't trying to hurt you guys. Jamie isn't trying to do this on purpose. Jamie has trauma, y'all. Jamie has been through a lot in their life, and it's an excuse for what he has been through and the situations that he can, conquer. And for him to be trying to do this is a great recovery, because he won't need to even focus on those things anymore. He will be focusing on the good parts of life. And even if he makes mistakes in these upcoming months, and have issues, it means he is still just human. He's still gonna have issues. And that is okay. Everybody, one of us, has issues, has mistakes, has trauma at some point. But that's how we improve. That's how we get better. And that's how we can find ourselves into doing what we want to do in life. So, for a lot of people that thinks that Jamie could be doing this on purpose, you need to acknowledge that he is still an adult. And the decisions that he fully makes is going to be his own responsibility. You can't fully change a person. You can't fully change how they think. The reason why I made this video is just to show his progress. That's it. So understand that. And he's willing to try. And he's showing us that he's willing to try. So this conclusion is going to talk about his positioning in his total life rebirth, which is the best scenario, the conclusion. With his independence, the brain fog from quitting the things that he is going to do and focusing on exercising, his 10-mile runs, and etc. is going to show that he can overcome his aquaphobia. So I didn't even realize what aquaphobia is until I researched it. So Jamie actually has an intense fear of heights that can cause anxiety and avoidance behaviors. And I said that his 10-mile runs were going to help him overcome his aquaphobia. So I am so sorry. That is one of the major errors I have incurred in this video, but we're just going to pretend that is not in this video. And to secure his own personal life. His health restoration, with his 33 weight loss, he's going to be moving from to 260 pounds to the 230 pounds probably very soon. And his liver is going to stabilize. And he's going to get his teeth to be fixed upon once the surgery comes around. And his health will be in a much better state than it has ever been in 2024 and 2025. He is also going to rebrand his career possibly. He is going to try to get music into place. He's going to try to get the niece of the AU guy and just, pose himself as the Jamie he is. And possibly, and I wouldn't mind this either, you could be a mental health advocate for what he's been through. This is going to become his new, more profitable niche and could attract more individuals, audiences that could just like Jamie than just this AU guy. So the factual summary is, Jamie is just no longer surviving his life. He is actively just conquering it. He is fully showing us of his physically and mentally decade of abuse and dependency to be overriding. This will show every single one of you guys he is willing to change. This is his progress. Before I end this video off though, I have to say for myself that Jamie has proved me wrong. I've been best friends with Jamie for a long time, and he has done a lot for me, and I've done a lot for him. And he had a lot more issues than I could even imagine. And there was one point where I felt like he wasn't going to change. He wasn't going to do the things that, a ton of him wanted him to do. And a ton of him wanted him to change upon. But he showed me and other people that all of my ideas were completely wrong. And now he is fully wanting to change. So Jamie, and I'm saying this to you before I end this video off, get your mental health right, and if you want to improve, just do better.